Right now on Sports Extra, it was another roller coaster week for the Atlanta Braves, sweeping the first place Mets while losing a series to the last place Marlins. We're going through it all, plus getting you ready for two more divisional series. And it's also draft week in the NBA. Who should the Hawks be looking at come Wednesday? And the dream continues to be off to an incredible start. Is it all maintainable?
You know, it's just, we got to go out there and play baseball, play good baseball, clean baseball and just take care of business, like I said, day by day, and not try to look too far ahead.
All of them at least been a one possession game in the fourth quarter. Like we've showed up to compete, and I think if you do that every game, you're bound to get better.
I've got all the questions, and my people with me at the desk have all the answers. Sports Extra starts right now. Yes, sir. Welcome on in, everybody. I'm Reggie Chatman. This is Sports Extra, and it's basically Radio Row up here today, as I've got a couple of radio's best here in the city alongside me. 929 The Game's Caleb Johnson, 680 Fans Hometeam, Brandon Lee. Guys, it's been a really, warm week. I guess I want to start with that. How have you guys been enjoying all this heat here in the city of Atlanta?
Finally getting some pool time and getting rid of that rain. It's been nice.
I've been inside with the AC blowing as coldly as it could.
No pool time?
Not yet. We got plenty of time for that. Right now it's time for the air conditioning.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. All right, let's talk some sports, why don't we? The Braves, another crazy week. They started off really well, got that series sweep over the Mets, and then they go on the road to play against the Marlins, the last place team in the NL East, and they get beat in that series. So it's another situation where it's been up and down. Home team, the question that I keep asking everybody every single week I get to host this show, because it feels like the answer changes every week, is the season over for the Braves?
There's still mathematically time. You aren't out of it, and you aren't going to be out of it with the wild card with a lot of teams. The issue is, does this team have the ability to show us what they've shown in the past, to get a hot streak, to keep a hot streak, and to get things consistently? And every time you think it has turned around, it has the effect of the tablecloth being pulled from under you as you sweep the Mets and you lose 2 out of 3 to the Marlins. And so you still have time, but now you're 7 games out of the wild card. You have 5 teams in front of you. And ultimately, if you don't start putting some series wins together and some streaks together and some hits together, you're going to just flat out run out of time.
I feel like every time we see the Braves win a collection of games together, we start to try and find the things that they're doing well, seeing if they're repeatable. They get that sweep over the Mets. Why wasn't any of it repeatable against the Marlins?
I mean, I think it's as simple as you need to score runs, and your starting pitching can't give up a bunch of runs. This team is 2-31 when they score less than 4 runs. It's been a problem for them all season. Now, a lot of teams aren't going to win games when they're not scoring runs, obviously, but this has been a consistent problem for this Braves team so far this season, and they can't afford to lose series. You're going to lose individual games. You're not going to be perfect all the way through like you were against the Mets, but dropping a series, it's killing them right now. It's terrible.
What did you say that stat was? 2-31?
2-31 when they score less than 4 runs.
I feel like that needed to be repeated because, you're right. It's just a math equation. If you score more runs than the other team, you're going to win. And if you're not scoring more than 4 runs, if you're the Braves, you're not going to win a whole bunch of them. The question is can they do it without some of their starting pitching? Obviously, there's been a lot of injuries to their starting rotation. The most recent one is Chris Sale, a broken rib cage after making that play in the Mets series. He had pitched really, really well, and then now he's out for the foreseeable future. Caleb, your first reaction when that push notification came through?
Honestly, I was at Home Depot and I looked down at my phone and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I mean, I was in the post-game press conference with Chris Sale on Wednesday when the man got in there and was saying, yeah, people are going to be talking more about that play than the game. Well, we didn't know he meant it in this way. I think everyone just thought, oh, that was a playoff type dive for a guy who was trying to go for the complete game. You love to see your players put it all on the line, but now you're looking back at it thinking maybe if you could have just saved yourself and not fractured your rib cage, because this clearly is at a time in which the Braves can't afford to lose games, and now they're losing their ace.
I think it's crazy too, because when I think back to when Spencer Strider got hurt last year. Remember, he came off the mound and we thought, oh, he just didn't pitch super well, right? And we asked in the post-game press conference, like, oh, is Spencer okay? And he's like, oh no, he's very injured and he might be out for the year. This feels similar to that, where it came out of almost nowhere. Home team.
Yeah, I felt like we just can't get right. There's no answer for what's going on with the offense, with the injuries, with suspensions, with people just not being able to figure out what they were able to do a couple of years ago. We saw a bunch of guys have career years, so you can't expect that every year. But to see everybody at their best and now see people not being able to fix some things, and now you have injury to a guy who could be an all-star and pitching, maybe starting in the all-star game if Paul Skeens says, you know what, let him pitch in his home ballpark. Now you have even more adversity to overcome, and it just feels like at some point, if the bats don't answer the call, no matter who's out there pitching, won't make a difference.
Well, look, that pitching staff has seen a lot of different changes, so this is just another one that they're going to have to deal with. And I think the question everybody's wondering now is, you mentioned the bats have to do something, but the pitching has to continue to be well. Grant Holmes, Spencer Schwellenbach, Spencer Strider, Bryce Elder, and of course the rookie Didier Fuentes. Is it all going to be enough, Caleb, to really keep this team on track if Chris Sale eventually comes back?
I think this has got to be a position that Alex Anthopoulos looks to address. Now, we all know that starting pitching is the most expensive thing to acquire at the trade deadline, but it feels like, no, it's not enough, especially with Chris Sale going out. Now you're potentially going to have to call up a Hurston Waldrop or an Ian Anderson. Like, the options are getting extremely thin, and this is at a time in which you can't afford to just kind of kick the can down the road and lose games. I mean, what Didier Fuentes did the other night was incredible to be a 20-year-old. I mean, I was not that impressive at 20 years old. It's just throwing 97. I mean, it's crazy. But he also didn't necessarily help his team win. So it's coming over all of that at this point. It's a lot, and I don't know that Alex is truly going to be able to address it in the way that fans are going to want.
I'm curious your thoughts on this home team. It feels like obviously all these injuries and everything has happened since they won that World Series title. Do you still think it was worth it that they ended up getting that World Series title for all the pain and misery they've had over the last couple of years?
Anything and everything is worth a championship. And I think we do have to pump the brakes a little bit. Look, we're a championship organization. You have expectations. You don't want to make excuses. But if you've had one bad season in 7 years and it is just absolutely inexplicable what's going on, I don't think you need to press the panic button. Alex Anthopoulos came on the Home of the Brave 680 The Fan and said he has no intentions of being a seller, so he believes in the players here. The question is this just one moment in time where this season is just bad, or are things going to be able to not be fixed and carry over to next year? I think that's the bigger question. So I think the moves he's made, he hasn't made too many bad moves. I think most of the criticism from the fan base, the guys who aren't here anymore, the Freddie Freemans, the Max Frieds, the Tyler Matzeks, those guys aren't here anymore. This is a completely new team. Can these guys figure it out before the season is out of reach because of mathematics?
If there's anybody that's trying his absolute best to be that guy to lead this team and to avoid this team going into nothing, it's Ronald Acuna Jr. He's come back from injury and it's just been an absolute force, Caleb. And I think it's interesting because after this first round of voting for MLB All-Star, he came in at 6th. Is there any reason he should not be top 3, top 1, considering he should be playing in his home ballpark?
Braves fans, I'm looking at you. What are you doing? Get on your phone right now and vote for Ronald Acuna Jr. I mean, the guy's batting nearly 400 right now. He's already got 8 home runs in this short amount of time. And I know there's going to be a lot of media who are going to say, well, he just has it. The sample size is too small. No. We've seen plenty enough to know that man is one of the best in baseball, and he's got to be in that All-Star game, and he should be starting.
Aaron Judge is the best hitter in baseball. Coming into this week, Ronald Acuna Jr. had better statistics in 4 categories better than Aaron Judge. So the bottom line is this. He needs to be there, and whatever it takes to get him in there before All-Star voting closes, doggone it, it needs to get done. He needs to be in Truist Park playing for the All-Star game and representing his team and the city of Atlanta.
Pete Crow Armstrong, Kyle Tucker, Teoscar Hernandez, Juan Soto, Corbin Carroll, all ahead of Ronald I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, before we go, we have to talk about Jerickson Profar. He could potentially be back on this roster as early as July the 2nd from his 80-game PED suspension. The question is do you think that the fan base and even this team should be thinking about this as, hey, we're excited that you're back, or more just upset the fact that he hasn't been here for the first part of the season, Caleb?
I mean, they need his bat in the lineup, especially if he's able to do what he's done down with the Gwinnett Stripers. The only unfortunate part is, in the back of your mind, he's not going to be around for the postseason. So I think the fan base should be looking at Profar going, we deserve for you to step up at least and help us through the regular season, help us win games. You need that offense.
You know what? He's let a lot of people down. And he owes a lot. We don't know him that way. He played 3 games and he's out suspended. So when you look at why he's here to hit. And what can't the Braves do? Hit. Why aren't the Braves winning games? They can't hit. So if you want to blame or put blame on him as well, he certainly can get some of that. He needs to come in and continue to do what he's done down in AAA. Show that he can come in, be an immediate infusion of offense, and bygones will be bygones. We've forgiven a lot of people in Braves uniforms for doing things, but you have to do it by example. So he'll come in, have an introductory press conference. He'll say he's sorry, then he needs to go hit the baseball.
I think people will be worried, he's coming back, and even if he helps us, we won't get to the postseason. You got to get there first, right? And maybe he can help this team get to that position. All right, coming up, we believe it or not, the NBA draft is finally here. Who should Hawks fans have their eyes on come Wednesday night out in Brooklyn? That conversation and much more coming up after the commercial break. All right, welcome back, friends. I'm Reggie Chatman, Hometeam Brandon Lee, Caleb Johnson alongside me. A couple of guys talking some ball here on Sports Extra. A new champion was crowned in the NBA on Sunday, so now we can turn our full attention to the NBA draft that begins Wednesday as the next generation NBA stars gets their names called. We'll talk about the Hawks in a second, but I'm curious from both of you. In a league where things are a little bit different than college football, right, where you've seen all these kids, we don't really know who a lot of these kids are going in the NBA draft. What should we be looking out for come Wednesday when the draft begins, Caleb?
Yeah, I think the thing for the Hawks is you want to address size, right? Like, that's been something throughout the entire offseason of fans are like, whoever the 7-footer is, let's go get that guy. And I think they're in a position right now where they can address needs as well as kind of fall in line with best player available. It's a lot of international guys, which certainly makes things a bit complicated because you don't have the tape necessarily on them to have that comfort of knowing how they play. But then you also have the guys from the States who are very much a big part of this. Your Colin Murray Boyles, your Carter Bryants out of Arizona. Like, those are kind of the bigger stars that we've seen throughout the tournament. But the international element is huge right now. And that's certainly do you go get another French guy to get along with Zach, quite honestly, because there's a pretty good 7-footer right now that they could take a look at.
We're just trying to figure out where they're going to kind of go, right? You mentioned the Hawks, right? They got 2 first-round picks at 13 and 22. We talked about maybe some of those needs. Home team, where are those needs, and do they keep both those picks? Do they move down? Do they move up? Is there anybody that you're looking at? I mean, we can't get anybody at number 1-1 in Cooper Flag, but, I mean, do you move around?
I'd make that call, too, just to see.
Sure, might as well.
You leave no stone unturned. Bottom line is the Hawks need a rim protector and somebody to work the pick-and-roll game with Trae Young. You also need a backup point guard so that you don't lose a lot of efficiency when Trae Young goes to sit down. So those are 2 options that you need to come out of the draft with if you pick. If you don't pick, package them up, move up, and get a player who is dynamic. We can criticize Trae Young all we want, talk about what he doesn't do. What he doesn't have is a bona fide all-star repeatedly playing on the floor with him like the other stars and all-stars in the league. So you need to figure out what is more important, depth and long-term strategy to get a big guy and a guard, or if a solid player you believe can help Trae Young immediately or next year gets in here and helps translate this thing into some wins.
Caleb, I'm going to ask you to pull out your crystal ball here. Make some decisions, man. You are now the GM of the Atlanta Hawks, and you've got the pick at number 13 at number 22. Who you mentioned a little bit a second ago, but who do they pick at that spot at 13?
I think 13 is where you go and address the center position. Brandon kind of mentioned the fact that they need that pick and roll guy along with Trey. That is certainly something that you can get with a lot of these guys who it's a different center position now, where a lot of these guys are stretching the floor. This is what Quinn Snyder wants to do when he's out there with Trey. And so can you go and get that game changer, that 7-footer, might be 6'11", who cares? But he's certainly a big that is a difference maker down low in the middle. And especially because you've got to replace a guy, like Clint Capella, who you've had in the past that slowed you down a bit. So I think someone who's got some speed is certainly going to be, in the mix in that conversation, and someone who's not just good at one particular thing that can kind of handicap this team.
It'll be interesting to see what this front office does, right? It's a new front office that's going to have an opportunity to mold their team in their image for the very first time. And so the question is, maybe some of these local guys that were from our area end up dropping all the way down to the Hawks. The biggest name that hopefully they could get, former Keatron star Ace Bailey. A lot of conversation about him this week. He's been canceling workouts with people. He could go as early as 2 or 3, but also without these workouts, you never really know. Home team, is that a good idea for him to be trying to dictate where he's going? And is he a guy that you would take a risk on, knowing that maybe he's not a guy that wanted to go to your team?
I don't want to take a body of work for a kid going to high school and playing his year in college, and then all of a sudden, he's a bad pick. You got to stay away from him because he's not ordering his steps like everybody else does. I would like to know, even if you didn't want to work out, would you just make the trip so that you could meet coaches and meet GMs and meet people who might end up trading for you or you might end up playing for? I don't know what the strategy is about him not working out for teams. Maybe he just feels supremely confident. I'm going to help anybody out. You've seen my take, pick me, and we'll see how it goes. I hope it doesn't turn out to be a situation like what happened with Shedeur Sanders, where the talk and not doing things like everyone else did them ends up costing him draft equity, and he falls further than he probably needs to because of his talent.
We're going to see. We'll definitely see. Meanwhile, also Asa Newell from Georgia, a chance to be a first-round pick as well. But before we go, we have to talk about this. The biggest news of the NBA today, outside, I guess, the NBA Finals, Kevin Durant was traded to the Rockets for the 10th pick in that draft. Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, and a lot of picks, actually. 5 second-round picks. How do you think that this trade changes the landscape, not only in the Western Conference, but in the NBA? Both of you guys. Caleb first.
I think for me, this absolutely makes Houston a win-now type of team. You got to see what they're going to do with Fred VanVleet. But the fact that Phoenix adds more at the 2-guard position, something that they didn't need, this is an absolute win for the Rockets, who get Jalen Green out of there. Clearly, he was not fitting amongst that mold. And then you're going to get a 30-point-a-game scorer from Kevin Durant. So, yeah, that certainly makes you a competitive team in the West. And I would expect them to be right back in this conversation this time when we're talking playoffs and finals.
You have a chance to win a championship. You have Kevin Durant. You have a team around him. I agree with Caleb. You have VanVleet back. You have a championship point guard. I'm upset that the Hawks are not in the conversation. I'm upset that this is not a team that he wanted to come to, because you want to be prepared when this opportunity presents itself to get your hands on a bona fide Hall of Famer who's a champion and could help your franchise be one.
All this to beat Trae Young, huh? All this trade-in work to try and beat Trae Young and the Hawks in the finals this year. So we'll see what happens. John is still on the table potentially.
Hey, mate, you never know.
We'll never know. All right, coming up, we're staying on the court to talk about some dream basketball. Who is getting overlooked and who is a breakout star this year? All that and more when Sports Extra returns after the commercial break. All right, welcome back to Sports Extra. Our third block is kind of our wild card block, so we're going to kind of go all over the landscape here. I'm Reggie. We've got Caleb, home team, still rocking with me. We start with some WNBA talk. Dream off to a 10-4 start this season after beating the Sky on Sunday. Ryan Howard with 22. They won 5 of 6, 9 of 11. Home team, this is a team that's been to the championship in the WNBA 3 different times. You've been to those games before. What would a deep run for this team mean for the city of Atlanta?
Juice for a franchise that keeps selling out their season tickets. You're trying to get as many eyes on the product as you can in the WNBA, and winning helps with that. You have to give all credit to Coach Carl Semesco. He's done a great job. Offensively, this is one of the worst teams in the WNBA last year. Now they're in the top 3 or 4 of a lot of categories. 3-point shooting, he's spacing the floor and getting more 3-point shots up. So it's all working out well, and it's a fun product to take the family down to go see.
They're a whole lot of fun to watch. Like you said, that offense has looked a lot different this season. Yeah. They're running and gunning. They're shooting the basketball. They're scoring points. And a lot of that scoring is coming from Alicia Gray, who's had a career year so far. Fresh off of the Player of the Month award for the month of May. After the first round of voting, was outside the top 10 for All-Star voting, Caleb. Kind of a snub.
Oh, yeah, absolutely disrespectful, because Alicia Gray, I believe it was today, became 4th all-time for the Atlanta Dream in three-point shooting. She passed her now owner, Renee Montgomery, on that list, which I thought was pretty cool. And, based on how you saw her in the All-Star game last year with that three-point shooting, yeah, she absolutely is being disrespected. The only thing that I am a bit concerned with this Dream team right now, Reggie, is the fact that out of these 10 wins, 3 of them have been against the top 8 of the league. And so you haven't necessarily put together wins against the top level competition. You can only play who's on your schedule, but it's just one of those things of we need to kind of keep that in mind as they face some of these tougher teams. Like you saw that close game against the Liberty. Like that's going to continue.
A game that they actually led in before losing in the second half. So they might still be in the mix. We just have to actually see it. The rosters for the All-Star game will be on July 8th. All right, before we keep rolling here, Rookie Tahina Pau has been a star. A career-high 5 3-pointers today. And I think it's just a general question, home team. What's about these women from South Carolina, man? They can shoot the ball.
Tahina Pau is the best shooter in the city.
What?
She came in from college shooting 40% from behind the arc. Trae Young shoots 35% for his career. She's the best shooter in the city. She's only going to get better as she figures out the flow and the speed of the game, and it's been fun to watch her rookie season come in, and now every time you hear the pow, every time she knocks one down from 3.
The name is built in already to the celebration, right? Before we go, we will have to talk about this. FIFA Club World Cup kicked off this last week. The first match between Chelsea and LAFC made major headlines because of what we see right there. The crowd, only 22,000 people, which in soccer terms is pretty good, but not in a stadium of 70,000. Does this give the Europeans the ammos that America is not ready to host the World Cup next year?
No, Reggie, this is an overreaction from fans that don't understand, hey, these games were played in the middle of the day. Atlanta, we kind of have work to go to and things like that. And then on top of that, the fans who their teams were playing in it, you're talking about LA, who is thousands of miles away, Chelsea, who thousands of miles away. So it wasn't even like the teams playing in this could really get there particularly easy. All of this is kind of emphasizing the fact of the European market was the focus of this tournament, and so that's why these games got scheduled in the middle of the day. It would change if it was 7 o'clock at night.
Hey, Europe, we have to stay up for the Olympics. You can stay up for some soccer in the ATL.
We're not, look, and by the way, you said it. It's soccer, not football. All right, guys.
Football, soccer, stay up for it in the ATL.
Thank you guys so much for coming on the show. We got to talk some golf before we go to break. You saw it here on 11 Alive. Final round of the Women's PGA Championship out in Texas. Her bogey-free round on Saturday gave Minjee Lee the lead coming into Sunday, and she never looked back. She finished the tournament 4 under to win the tournament by 3 strokes. It's her 3rd major title in her career. Coming up, we've got, by the way, guys, thank you guys for coming on the show again today. Coming up, Reggie's Agenda. Let's have the commercial break. Final block of Sports Extra here on this Sunday, and it's time for Reggie's Agenda, and it is simple. It's just that college baseball is still an underrated sport in the entire sports landscape and absolutely deserves some more respect. The Fighting Tigers of LSU won the championship on Sunday, taking the first 2 games of the championship series over Coastal Carolina. This sport has all the pageantry, the drama, and the young people messing up in big moments that makes college football special, but the parity that any team can play for a title in Omaha. So with Georgia becoming a powerhouse and Georgia Tech on the right track, now is the time to get on the bandwagon. So congrats to Georgia natives Jared Jones and Michael Braswell for winning the title. And also congrats to me, your favorite LSU grad. Go Tigers. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next week.